Good morning. How you doing? I'm really excited about this because this is my favorite topic. The American Revolution in the Boston area on top of it. I always like learning about this in school. I think in first grade or first or second grade. No, first grade and kindergarten was bicentennial 1976. So I used to be really into that. I even had toy soldiers of American and British troops. All right, that's crazy. Of course, I was, in first grade, so I'm not that crazy. But so I was really into that. So we're going to be learning about that. So you better be ready, because I'm home. All right, no. It'll be fun. The first chapter we're going to do, chapter 7, it'll be more of a general way of teaching it. The next week we're going to get more specific with the chapter a day lessons. All right. So let's learn, and then let's learn about Boston and the start of the American Revolution, and that'll take us right up to the holidays. And then we'll learn more about the American Revolution, Declaration of Independence, and all that fun stuff, which is also a passion of mine. And that will be in the new year. All right. So let's get going. I know you're going to love it. Love it. All right, maybe not. But I will. Okay. America's Fight for Freedom on Chapter 7. Many people from England came to live in America. They came to live in the 13 colonies. The people who lived in the colonies were called Americans. Many people came to America because they wanted more freedom. In 1707, England and 3 small countries became part of a larger nation. The larger nation was called Great Britain. People who lived in Great Britain were called the British. Great Britain ruled the 13 American colonies. The King of Great Britain was the King of the American colonies. From 1760 to 1820, King George III was the King of Great Britain. So guys, look, and ladies, England and Britain are the same thing if you want to think of it that way. England is the main country, and then England conquered Northern Ireland, Wales, and Scotland. And those 4 are Great Britain. So really they're the same thing, though if you go over to England, they don't think of it as the same thing. Scottish will say, I'm Scottish, I'm not English. It's a whole thing over there. But for these assignments, if you say England or Britain, you're good. Don't worry about it. Okay, back to the story. In 1763, the English, or British, won the French and Indian War. The war helped the American colonies. Americans felt safer because France no longer ruled Canada. Great Britain ruled Canada after this war. The British had spent a lot of money to fight the French. The British wanted the colonies to help pay for the French and Indian War. Sounds fair to me. The British made new laws. The laws said that the Americans had to send some of their money to Great Britain. All right. The money that Americans had to send was called tax money. This tax money would help Great Britain get back the money it had spent on the war. Okay, this part is fair, or sounds fair to me. In 1765, the British made a new tax law for the colonies. It was called the Stamp Act. The Stamp Act said that Americans had to pay a tax on things made from paper, such as newspapers. A special stamp was placed on the newspapers to show that the tax was paid. Americans did not like the Stamp Act. They said this law was unfair. It was unfair because Americans did not help make the tax law. Some Americans decided not to pay the new taxes. Some Americans burned stamps to show they were angry about the new law. So this is the problem. The problem is the colonial Americans didn't get to help make the law. They couldn't vote on it. That's why they were angry, and they have a right to be angry. Americans wanted the same freedom to make laws that the British had. In Great Britain, the British helped make their own laws. They did this by voting for leaders who would make laws for them. The British leaders who worked together to make laws for Great Britain were called Parliament. Americans wanted to send their own leaders to Great Britain. They wanted these leaders to be in Parliament and make laws. The British would not let Americans make laws in Parliament. There's your problem. You know how we vote for everything? We still have taxes, but we vote on them. Parliament wrote more tax laws for the 13 colonies. The British leaders did not let Americans help write any of these laws. Americans did not like the new laws that the British wrote for them. In 1773, the British made another law. This law said that Americans must pay a tea tax. This meant that Americans had to pay a tax when they paid for their tea. Americans had to send the tax money to Great Britain. Americans were angry because they did not help write the tea tax law. Boston was a large port city in Massachusetts, near the Atlantic Ocean. 3 ships with boxes of tea came to Boston. The Americans did not want to pay a tea tax. They did not want the tea. They wanted to send the tea ships back to Great Britain. The British said that Americans had to pay for the tea. Some Americans decided to throw the boxes of tea into the ocean. One night in 1773, they put on Native American clothes. They went on the tea ships. The Americans threw every box of tea into the Atlantic Ocean. This is known as the Boston Tea Party. The Boston Tea Party made King George very angry. So just so you know, they did dress as Mohawk Indians, and they barely did. They didn't try to fake anyone out. They weren't in very good costumes, but they wanted to be disguised, so they put, like feathers in the hair and little paint like this. They just didn't want the local authorities or the police of their era, the constables, to find out who it was. So they were really just putting on a disguise to hide who they were. They didn't fake anyone out that they were Native Americans. So it wasn't that type of trick. King George punished the people of Boston. He closed Boston's port. Ships could not come to or go from the port. King George said the port would be closed until Americans paid for all the tea. The king sent many British soldiers to Massachusetts. The British had made another law that Americans did not like. This law said that the Americans must give British soldiers food and a place to sleep. The soldiers paid Americans when they ate and slept in their homes, but Americans did not like the British soldiers. They did not want the soldiers in their homes. A few people didn't mind at all, but most did not. King George sent more soldiers to Massachusetts. Americans became angrier and angrier. The angry Americans formed an army. In 1775, America began to fight Great Britain for freedom. The fighting began in Massachusetts. The British won the first battles. Boy, that's not true. Lexington and Concord was won by the Patriots. Bunker Hill was won by the British. But the Americans would not stop fighting. They were fighting for the same freedom that people had in Great Britain. They wanted the freedom to write their own laws. A war had started in 1775 between Great Britain and America. Americans called this war the American Revolution. Okay. And we're going to learn more details next week about the specific battles of Lexington and Concord, and that's the Ride of Paul Revere. These are all very famous things. And Bunker Hill, I may rewrite that little bit there. That's ridiculous. The Americans clearly won Lexington and Concord by a lot. The whole countryside rose up against the British and started attacking them. It was not good for the British at all. All right, and then they were trapped in Boston, so I don't know what that's about. All right, well, great, and I know it's holiday season. We just got a couple weeks, okay? Then you can have your vacation, all right? All right, America, USA! God bless America. All right, guys, we'll see you. Bye.